On the very first day I moved into my new home, I got pulled into a strange group chat called Red Star Community Chat. Everyone in the group had adorable animal profile pictures. I didn't think much of it at first, figured it was the property management adding me for community updates. One day, I happened to glance at the chat. Evil fleece. Ugh, got caught stealing snacks. My mom smacked my butt a few times. Tonight I'm gonna chew up her slippers. British gentleman. Loser. You actually let the poop scooper boss you around? I'm the little emperor.jpg chubby gin. Hey, do you guys think water tastes spicy sometimes? British gentleman. Idiot. Your water dispenser's probably leaking electricity. Kick it over already. Sweet lil cheese. My mom's coming to trim my claws. Meow meow zero, help me beat meow meow zero. I read on, completely entertained. I figured it was just some neighborhood kids role playing as animals. Not gonna lie, their cute little chats were oddly comforting. Then suddenly, a new message popped up. I think there's a stranger in my house. Secretly watching.jp. The profile pic was a little husky. Judging from past messages, this one sounded like a 4 or 5-year-old kid. I tensed up and was about to ask if he was home alone, but the group started roasting him instead. You sure it's a stranger? Your house has a stranger every time someone changes clothes. Last time it was just your dad in a new shirt. Meow meow zero, I'll help you beat meow meow zero. I hesitated, unsure whether to tag the building manager. The next second, the husky said, Heh, turns out it was my dad wearing a mask. As a reward, I'm gonna pee in his room tonight. False alarm. I laughed, but couldn't shake the weird feeling. That evening, I got back late from a job interview. As soon as I flipped on the lights, a shadow darted across the living room floor. My heart jumped. Just as I bent down to look under the coffee table, a big rat ran straight for my feet. I screamed and jumped onto the coffee table. Terrified, I messaged the group. There's a rat in my house. Anyone know a reliable pest control service that does emergency visits? Please, help, super urgent. Meow? Rat? What's a rat? A rat is a fast little toy that squeaks when you squeeze it. My dad won't let me play with it. Are you new? Never seen you around. Why's your profile pic a human? What species is your household? Not allowed to use a human profile pic? What does species even mean? No time to dwell on it, those high-pitched squeaks were making my skin crawl. I opened an app to find an exterminator. Then someone tagged me in the chat. AAA rat catcher orange bro? 2 cans of wet food, non-negotiable. On my way. I'm at your door. Open up. Meow. That fast? I opened the door. The hallway was empty. Just as I was about to shut it again, a cat's meow caught my attention. A very polite orange tabby was standing neatly at my door, paws together. Our eyes met, and an unbelievable thought popped into my head. Are you AAA rat catcher orange bro? The orange cat meowed twice. A message popped up in the group. It's a cat. 2 cans of wet food. Starting now. I couldn't help but laugh and reached out to pet its head. The orange tabby tilted away. Meow meow meow, that's a separate charge. Petting costs half a sausage. I didn't have any pet food at home, but I bargained with 4 sausages. It licked its paw and agreed on the condition of installment payments. Deal done. The nimble orange master chased the rat from the living room to the kitchen. Aside from knocking over a water glass on the table, the mission was a success. Orange Bro left the dead rat outside so I wouldn't be scared. Human cat accidentally broke your cup. Cat will waive 1 sausage. I shook my head. A deal's a deal. You'll get all 4 sausages. But can I get 1 free pet in return? Orange Bro gave a soft meow, lowered its head, and rubbed against my palm. As it left, it said I could call for it again in the group if needed. Once the house was quiet again, it all hit me. Was I dreaming? The animals in the Red Star community chat, they were real. Those avatars? They were actually them. No matter how surreal last night had been, the next morning I was back out pounding the pavement for interviews. I live on the 12th floor. When the elevator reached the 10th, a guy walked in with a husky. The dog looked familiar. I mean, the husky did. I stared at it. It stared right back. The guy glanced between us. "You two know each other?" I quickly waved it off. How was I supposed to tell him I thought his husky was the one who peed in his room last night? Just then, a message from the group chat popped up. My dad calls me genius. Saw a lady in the elevator. Looks familiar. Smells good, too. Want to get petted, he. Evil fleece. Dumb dog. British gentleman. Stupid mutt. I slowly reached out my hand. And sure enough, the husky leaned in for a sniff. The guy gave me a look like, "Thought you said you didn't know each other?" As I pet the dog, I asked gently, "What's your name?" "Luke." I crouched down and squeezed the dog's paw. "Hi there, Luke." "I'm Luke." I looked up, flustered. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking." Luke's face turned a little red. "No, it's me. I didn't realize you meant him. He's Choo-Choo." "Genius! Sis, I'm genius! Curse you, Dad, can't believe you forgot my name. Hit him, hit him, hit him!" Genius immediately stood up and started wrestling Luke right there in the elevator. Luke swore at him, "Stupid dog," while throwing punches. I just stood there laughing and trying to break them up. After a long morning and 3 interviews, none of which went great, I decided to head home for a bite. On my way back, I spotted a pet supply store going out of business. I thought of the Red Star group chat. Wait a second, wasn't that a built-in customer base? Be your own boss or be someone else's workhorse, easy choice. I did some quick math and contacted the shop owner. Took over the place that very day. Then I posted in the group, "Anyone into this new toy? New treats in stock? Biscuits, freeze-dried snacks, and goodies. Bring your humans in for a free tasting." The moment I sent that message, the group chat exploded. No pet had ever posted a video in the group before. They knew I was different right away. British gentleman. "It's a human! A real human! A human snuck in! The Emperor has fallen. JPG, AAA Ratcatcher Orange Bro. Told you last time, didn't I? Sweet Lil Cheese. Hey human, can you tell my mom I hate getting my claws trimmed?" At first, the pets in the group were surprised I was human, but once they realized I meant no harm, they got used to me. They even started asking me to pass messages to their humans. So I launched a special deal. For every purchase over 500 yuan, I'd throw in a free pet consultation. The first customer to visit was Luke. He bought 10 pounds of dog food and a few small toys for Genius. "You can really talk to them?" he asked. I gave a non-committal smile. He raised a brow and smirked at me, then rubbed Genius's head and said, "Okay, ask him this. He eats way too much. His dad can't afford to raise him anymore. Can he be self-sufficient?" I beckoned to Genius and sneakily picked up my phone. After a while, I said with a barely suppressed grin, "Genius says, no worries if you're broke, he can go out and eat poop, and even take you with him. He'll eat the soft stuff, and you can have the hard bits." Luke lowered his head in defeat. Genius looked back at him with utmost sincerity. "Stupid dog! Is this how you repay the father who raised you with sweat and tears?" Luke gave his head a good rub. "My dad calls me genius. I'm giving you all the good poop and you still complain? This is abuse. Fight, fight, fight!" Genius stood up again, flailing both paws, and started yet another brawl in my store. No idea why a dog was so obsessed with slapping people. The second customer was a familiar face, or rather, familiar cat. It was Sweetie, the striped tabby from the group. Her owner was a shy young woman who held the cat and said, "Sweetie's been acting strange lately. She keeps meowing at the wardrobe. It's kind of creeping me out. If you really can talk to pets, could you ask her what's going on?" I instantly thought of those online stories about strangers hiding in wardrobes, but the girl shook her head. I was worried about that too, so I already checked. There's nothing inside. That made it even more puzzling. I took Sweetie inside and tagged her in the group chat. Is there something in the wardrobe? Sweet little cheese, it's under the wardrobe. I fell under the wardrobe. You? But you're right here. Sweet little cheese. Not me. Me. The smaller me. Most of the pets think like little kids, so sometimes their explanations aren't clear. Just as I was scratching my head, another pet chimed in. She might mean her photo, or something that looks like her. It was an Alaskan Malamute, new to the community, supposedly adopted by a woman. Among all the simple-minded pets, it stood out as unusually smart. I followed that lead and asked Sweetie a few more questions. Sure enough, it was just as the Malamute had guessed. I relayed the answer honestly to the girl. Something seemed stuck under the wardrobe and hard to reach. Sweetie says she'll show you the spot when you get home. She really likes that thing and has been super anxious about not getting it back. She left half convinced. An hour later, she sent me a photo and a thank you message. Oh my God, girl, you're amazing. There was times something under there. It was in such a tight corner. No wonder I missed it before, even though I looked several times. The picture showed a squished little felt cat head, apparently something she'd made from Sweetie's fur. No wonder Sweetie said it was a smaller version of herself. After that, the girl became my #1 fan. Thanks to her word of mouth, business picked up even more. My life finally settled into a routine. Serving customers, counting inventory, watching the group chat, and putting out fresh food and water by the door to attract the strays from the group. Unlike pets with homes, the strays were mostly silent. They had no families, and not much in common with the others. Some even hated humans because they'd been abandoned. But they never said no to food. Even though they often ate the kibble without speaking to me, I started finding flower petals at my door for several mornings in a row. The most frequent visitor was Orange Bro. He said rat catching wasn't as profitable these days. I poured him a bowl of food, and he purred like he was singing. Human, you're good to cats. I'll let you pet my head. From now on, I'll protect you with my little crew. I laughed and asked if he wanted to just live with me. He shook his head, said he had others to look after. But if I ever needed him, just call. I thought for a second. That was fine, too. If you or your little brothers ever get hungry, you're always welcome here. When it gets cold, you can come in to rest and warm up. But you've got to keep them in check, no breaking stuff, okay? Orange Bro rubbed against my hand and meowed in agreement. That day, I had just seen off a customer and was about to sit down when I saw a Shiba Inu spamming the chat. Shiba sang, "Angry, angry, angry." Mama-chan's new pet keeps sneaking out to play and stealing snacks. What should I do? Sweet little cheese. Stealing snacks? That's bad. Beat Meow Meow Zero and take him away. Evil Fleece. Pee on the bed. Tell him there's a tasty surprise waiting. British gentleman. Loser. Go beat the human up and remind them who runs the house. Alaskan. What species is it? Shiba-sung. Same as Mama-chan. Human. Alaskan. If it's male, it's likely your owner's partner. These males hit their mates. Very bad, very mean creatures. You must protect your owner. Shiba-sung. Protect Mama-chan. Protect Mama-chan. That Alaskan clearly had some bad past experiences, very hostile toward men. I didn't want the Shiba to get the wrong idea, so I spoke up in the group. If your human isn't in danger, good dogs shouldn't bite people. You could get taken away. And if the other person gets hurt badly, the dog might even be put down. Your parents would be heartbroken. The Alaskan stayed quiet. The other pets, hearing that their owners might be sad, all joined in to talk the Shiba down. I was about to say more when a guy came into the store. He bought some best-selling dog food, then lingered after paying. I heard you do pet consultations if you spend over $500. I nodded. I wanted to ask, my girlfriend's dog seems to think I'm her other pet. He's kinda hostile toward me. What should I do? I couldn't help but think of that angry Shiba. Most pets are pretty single-minded, not actually malicious. I told the guy to try feeding the dog and taking him on walks. If he still couldn't win the dog over, at least aim for peaceful coexistence. But the most important thing, never hurt the owner. Otherwise, the hostility would double. The guy nodded and said he'd remember that. I later found out that the Shiba Inu in the group was indeed the boyfriend's dog. Fortunately, it had listened to the group's advice and, aside from competing with the guy over plush toys, hadn't acted out. On Saturday, a special customer showed up at the store. She had come all the way from a neighboring city. She said her dog was physically healthy but wouldn't eat much. She was out of options and had asked for help in a dog walking group, which is how she heard about me. "We've already been to the vet. There's nothing wrong with his body. Please, could you ask him why he won't eat?" This customer wasn't from Red Star Community, so her dog wasn't in the group. I couldn't talk to it directly, but that wasn't a problem. I sent a message in the group. "Any cutie nearby want to earn a can of food? Just stop by the store for a bit." In less than 5 minutes, a few cats and dogs had gathered outside. Human, hello, begging. I explained the situation as simply as I could, then picked a dog that seemed to understand and brought it in. The customer's dog was a mixed breed and kind of looked like a certain novelist. It lay on the floor, looking listless. The little interpreter dog gave it a sniff, then barked softly back and forth for a bit before dutifully relaying the message in the group. He says he doesn't actually not want to eat. He wants to save some for his friends. But his owner doesn't let his friends into the yard. He hasn't seen them in a while and is worried. I gave the little interpreter a proud pat on the head, then asked the customer, "Does he have any friends who used to come to the house that you haven't seen in a while?" "No. I walk him every day. Wait. Hold on. You think he means those cats?" She said she lived on the ground floor and had a small yard. The dog's food and water were usually placed outside. When she noticed the dog wasn't eating much, she had checked the yard's security footage and found that shortly after she set out the food, a few cats would show up. So those were his friends? I had no idea. Every time those cats came by, he'd hide behind the door and peek outside. I thought he was scared and being bullied, so I chased the cats off. I shook my head. "Your dog says his friends are strays and skittish. He was worried they wouldn't eat if he didn't step back, so he pretended to be full and hid. Your dog is a really kind little guy." "Oh, baby, you're the best baby in the world." The woman tearfully scooped up her dog and left with a big order of cat food. Once I got used to these consultations, I bought new equipment and added pet washing services. Some cats and dogs hate baths because of the noise from the dryer. Others are just too big to wash at home. That Alaskan Malamute had been brought over a few times. Alaskan. "Hello, human. You're from the group. I recognize you." I laughed and nodded. It lifted its big paw cooperatively. While paying, its owner handed me a payment code. I noticed a bruise on her wrist. She saw me looking and tugged her sleeve down. "Bumped into something." I pressed my lips together and didn't say anything. There were a lot of E-dogs and E-cats in the Red Star group. Sometimes they'd mention me to their friends during playdates. Thanks to their spreading the word, I'd become kind of a legend in the animal world. This led to a few fake emergencies. Like a crow pretending to be dead outside my door just to get some water, or a squirrel tapping insistently for nuts. Thankfully, their requests were never too much. One day, I was brushing Orange Bro at the door when a trembling little dog slowly shuffled up to my shop. I got up to grab a bowl of food, but the dog didn't eat. Orange Bro went over to sniff it. "Human, this dog is dying." I was stunned and quickly asked Orange Bro to help translate in the group. But to my surprise, Orange Bro directly pulled the dog into the chat. He said the pup was probably a stray. "I'm not a stray. I have an owner. I'm here to find them." The dog said its name was Afu. It had heard that someone here could talk to animals, so it had walked a long way. Its eyesight was failing. It knew it might be dying. But before that, it wanted to smell its owner one last time. Evil fleece. "Were you abandoned?" Afu. I was not abandoned. My owner told me to wait. He just forgot to come pick me up because he had things to do. Alaskan. A foo. I think I've heard of you. You've been waiting a long time, haven't you? A foo. I don't remember anymore. I just know it's been so long since I smelled my owner's scent. I'm starting to forget what it was like. Human, please. I'm begging you. Sweet Lil Cheese. Human, please help him. I'll share my food. British gentleman. And mine too. Chubby Jin. Meow meow. I ran out of cans, but I have dried fish. Evil Fleece, count me in. Even Orange Bro joined in to ask me for help. I had no choice but to promise a foo I'd try. I took his photo and sent it to several customer group chats. The only info I got was that a foo was a stray from another district. He'd been waiting outside a community gate for at least 7 or 8 years. His owner never came. People had tried to adopt him, but a foo always refused to leave. Beyond that, there was nothing. I wanted to keep a foo with me for a few days and wait for news, but he insisted on going back right away. He was afraid his owner might come while he was gone. I couldn't let him walk that far alone again, so I called a cab. We drove through turns and red lights. A foo had no idea how dangerous the road was. He only knew he missed his owner. Just like I didn't know how a nearly blind, dying dog managed to find my shop, I only knew I wanted to help him. When we arrived, I carried a foo out. The security guard greeted him like an old friend. I took the chance to chat with him. Heard they left the dog behind when they moved. Probably didn't want to keep it anymore. It's been almost 10 years. The dog's so old it can't see properly. Whenever someone gets close, it sniffs them, hoping it's its owner. Wonder how the one who abandoned him would feel if they heard he waited here for 10 years. Maybe they'd just laugh and call him dumb. Dogs, sometimes they've got more loyalty than people. My throat tightened. I forced myself to ask, do you know anything else about that family? The next day, with the info I got from the guard, I went to find Luke. He'd just graduated from the police academy last year and was now the local community cop. He came to my shop often. We had a bit of a rapport. You're asking me to use my position to look up someone's private info. You do know that's against the rules, right? It was definitely not by the book. But I had no other way. Just as I was about to push a little harder, Luke suddenly smiled. But you, times file a report, say you found a valuable dog. By the time I left the police station, night had fallen. All the pets in the group chat were asking about the outcome. I didn't know what to say, so I asked instead, if your owner died, or if they abandoned you, which would be easier for you to accept? Sweet Lil Cheese. Don't know, but Meow just wants to stay with Mama forever. Shiba-song. Mama-chan would never abandon me. British gentleman? Outrageous! The poop scooper dares abandon his majesty? AAA rat catcher Orange Bro. If you're always astray, you never have to worry about that. Alaskan. I'd rather be abandoned. I want my owner to stay alive and well. My dad calls me genius. Dad can have all the poop I find, just please don't leave me behind. Woo woo woof. In the end, I chose to tell a foo the truth. It lay curled up in its old nest, cloudy eyes staring unblinkingly at the gate. I stroked its head. A foo, your owner never abandoned you. 10 years ago, a foo's owner moved away from this neighborhood. One of the people they were moving with had a dog hair allergy, so a foo and its things were left behind. Before getting into the car, the owner gently patted a foo on the head and said, "Wait here. I'll be back for you soon." A foo waited. The owner did come back, except on the way, they were hit by an overloaded truck, driver, and vehicle, both crashing off the highway. A foo hadn't been abandoned. It's just that its owner was lost forever on the way home to get it. When I finished telling the story, a foo seemed calm. Its weak eyes rolled gently as it licked my fingers, like it didn't understand, but tears kept welling up in its eyes. Human, can you do one more thing for me? I heard there's something called chocolate that dogs can only eat once in their lives. I want to try it. I nodded and got up to walk to the nearby supermarket. As I stepped out of the store, I heard the security guard shout. A foo, using the last of its strength, had darted into the street. It never got to taste the chocolate. I buried its ashes beside its owner's grave. Dogs live on average only 10 to 13 years. A foo spent its entire life waiting. Maybe this time, its owner really did come back for it. After a foo's passing, I was heartbroken for days. People tend to fall sick when they're vulnerable. A bit of cold wind at night had me hospitalized with a fever the next day. I didn't want to worry my parents who lived far away, so I faced it alone. While I was getting an IV, half dozing off, I suddenly heard a nurse exclaim, "Oh no, where'd this kitty come from? So cute. But this isn't a place for you. Shoo, out you go." I turned my head. There was Orange Bro, weaving his way around the nurse, trying to dodge eviction. When he saw me, he gave a soft meow. "That's my cat," I said. "Let him stay a bit. I'll go home with him once I'm done." I waved at Orange Bro, and the nurse finally left. He messaged in the group, "Human, what happened?" "The shop was closed today. Cat walked really far and sniffed around a lot before finding you here. I didn't know if cats understood the concept of illness. I just told him I needed to rest." Orange Bro jumped onto the chair, licked his paw, curled up, and lay down beside me. He didn't know what rest meant, but he wanted to stay with me. After the IV drip, I went home and gave Orange Bro a can of food. Then I collapsed into bed and fell into a deep sleep. Half awake, I thought I heard a woman crying in the distance. I figured it was a nightmare, unaware that at the same time in the group chat, Alaskan had posted, "Kill him! Kill him! I'm going to kill him! I can't take it anymore. I have to protect my owner." The other cats and dogs, still awake, began flooding the chat with questions, but Alaskan never responded again. A few days later, once I'd recovered and was getting ready to reopen the store, I heard the news. The Alaskan had killed someone. Just yesterday morning during a walk, it had mauled its male owner to death. How could this happen? "I've seen that dog a few times. It's smart. Not the kind to bite," I said. Luke sighed. "Maybe that's times why asterisk. Because it's smart. Smart enough to end the suffering of its owner, a woman who'd been a long-time victim of domestic violence. I heard that after the attack, the dog didn't run. It just waited at the gate, hoping to see her one last time. By then, I noticed Alaskan's profile picture had disappeared from the group chat. Its final messages were, "Thank you all for your kindness. Please don't be scared when you hear about me. And don't follow what I did. I have no regrets. I protected my owner." My throat felt like it was stuffed with cotton. I asked Luke what would happen to it. "Would it be put down?" Luke said. "Not necessarily. The case was under investigation. First, they'd check for rabies. If the owner was willing to take civil responsibility, there was a chance the dog might not be euthanized. In short, there was still hope, but it depended on whether the owner was willing to fight for it. The animals in the group were all so innocent. They didn't understand why Alaskan had vanished. They just thought it went off to play and would be back soon. Sometimes they'd still ask if I'd seen it. I stared at the screen, not knowing how to answer. Sensing my sadness, Orange Bro jumped onto the table and gently placed his paw on my hand. "Human, you can cry on Cat's broad chest." I looked at the soft little paw print on my hand, gave it a couple of squeezes, then wrapped Orange Bro in a fierce hug face, buried, full-on squish, paw pads smushing. Now times was healing. That day, I terrified every pet in the group. Orange Bro's scream echoed endlessly. "Sweet Lil Cheese. Terrifying. Like when Mama comes back from hunting," Sheba sang. "Mama-chan would never do that to me. She just pats my head and says, 'Scratch that chin? Scratch that chin. Chubby Jin.' Huh? Isn't that what all kittens go through?" My mom says cats are born to be hugged. British gentlemen. Fools! Only if the poop scooper begs me will I maybe times allow a cuddle. Lost in my cat, squeezing bliss and buried in end-of-month inventory, I didn't lock up and head home until very late. Sensing my fear, Orange Bro offered to escort me. If something really happens, you're just a little kitty. What can you do to protect me? Human, remember, you're Cat's little bro now. Cat will always have your back. I didn't realize then those words were about to come true. While passing through the neighborhood garden, I ran into a man wearing a mask. My instinct screamed danger. I took a few quick steps to get away, but he suddenly turned and lunged at me, pinning me to the ground and dragging me into the bushes. He pressed a knife to my neck. I tried to stay calm and told him I could give him money. Just then, Orange Bro let out a sharp yowl, and responses echoed all around from high and low places. One by one, glowing green eyes appeared, like ghost lights flickering in the dark. All the strays I had fed had come to save me. Unlike their usual soft meows and cuddles, their cries were now piercing and eerie. The sound of more than a dozen cats howling in the quiet night was chilling. The man started to panic and looked around. Orange Bro seized the moment and launched the first attack. The strays followed, one after another, clinging to him and clawing fiercely. I rolled to the side and shouted, "He has a knife! Be careful!" But my words were meaningless to the cats. Thankfully, the other pets in the group sensed something was wrong. They started howling and dashing around their homes to raise the alarm. One by one, the neighborhood lights turned on, and security soon noticed something was off. The man, desperate to escape and enraged by the bites, turned vicious. I sensed danger. "Orange Bro, come back!" But it was too late. To protect the other cats, Orange Bro took a blow to the stomach, slashed open by the man's knife, and was flung aside. "Orange Bro!" I screamed and ran to him. Blood soaked his fur, matting it in clumps. He raised a little paw to pat me, and his last words in the group chat were, "Human cat protected you." Half a month later, Red Star Community returned to its usual peace. The group chat buzzed as it always had. "Sweet lil' cheese. Mama's collecting my poop again. Gonna go make another pile later. Chubby Jin, help! Help! Mama fell in the water. Save her!" I already knew what came next. Mama says she's just taking a bath. Told me not to squeeze through the door crack. British gentleman. The water in the poop scooper's cup looks delicious. Just one sip, then another. Oops, knocked it over. Smashed it. The poop scooper actually dared to spank His Majesty's butt. The Emperor has fallen. JPG Shiba sang. Heard that Genius is acting in a drama now? Evil Fleece. Heard that too. Said he's playing a wolf. I looked up and saw Luke walking nearby with Genius. Little girl. "Mommy, look at the big dog." My dad calls me Genius. I'm a wolf. Big dog. Wolf. Big dog. Woof, 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 a woo. Luke. Stupid dog. I quietly slipped through the crowd with my bag. The liveliness belonged to them. As for me, I was finally about to become someone with a cat. At the hospital, the vet examined Orange Bro's shaved belly. Wearing the cone of shame, he wept in silence. "Healing nicely. We can remove the stitches. Good thing he's chubby otherwise. That cut might have hit vital organs." I didn't say anything. While the vet worked, I silently pulled out a treat stick. Meow, meow, meow. Orange Bro cursed and grumbled while munching his treat. After we left the hospital, he complained in the group chat. "Avoid that treat stick. Tastes good, but made my belly itch like crazy while I ate." Longevity. Sweet lil' cheese. Longevity? Are you the new kitty? Wait, that profile pic looks familiar. British gentleman. Idiot! That's the old AAA rat catcher Orange Bro. Shiba sang. Huh? Why the name change? Longevity. Cat picked up a wild human. She needs cat. Cat is retiring from the pugilist world. Meow, meow, meow. Human, right? Yes, I need a cat. My name's Jennifer. From now on, you can call me Jennifer. Longevity. Jennifer. From that day on, I was no longer a wildling with no cat to love me. One day, I was sunbathing outside with longevity. Its back was turned, licking its fur like a delicious giant drumstick, making me drool. It was always ready to turn around. I was always ready to pounce. Just as I was about to strike, a woman's voice called from the door. "Excuse me, do you have time to give this one a bath?" I turned around. In the sunlight, an Alaskan sat obediently on the ground. At the same time, a ding came from the Red Star group chat. Alaskan. "Hello, everyone. Long time no see." Bonus some tales about Genius. When Luke first got Genius, he named him Choo Choo. But after witnessing all his brilliant behavior, like performing a tap dance when asked to shake paws, or thinking he wasn't allowed to pee inside, and then tripping and believing he'd paralyzed himself, Luke started calling him Genius sarcastically. Luke once got so freaked out, he rushed him to the hospital in the middle of the night. After the checkup, the vet said nothing was wrong, he'd just fallen hard and assumed he was paralyzed. From then on, whenever Luke sighed and said, "You're such a genius," Genius took it as his new name. The most ridiculous incident happened recently. Luke thought Genius might get smarter with age. Turned out the more purebred he got, the dumber he became. Luke bought him a new food bowl. Genius started fighting with it mid-meal. Thinking it was the bowl, Luke switched back to the old one. But then Genius fought that one too, barking, biting, and spilling kibble everywhere. When Luke asked what was wrong, Genius stormed over, ranting, and even stood up to smack him with his paw. Embarrassed, Luke had no choice but to go ask Jennifer at the pet shop. After a brief consultation, Jennifer held back laughter and said, "Genius says he used to feel full, but now he doesn't. He thinks the bowl is stealing his food." Luke covered his face. Could it just be that his appetite increased? Stupid dog. What kind of karmic debt was this?